Hello, welcome to the Katrina Johnson Show. I'm your host, Katrina Johnson. You can find me at katrinajohnson.online. Thank you for joining me today. I have a great show for you. Be sure to share and subscribe to my podcast. And without further ado, let's get into today's show. But before we do that, let's have a word from our sponsor. Today on the Katrina Johnson Show, we will pick up where we left off last week. This is our second episode, and I'm going to continue on the topic of choices. Episode 1, the title was Life is About Choices. I decided to just make this season the topic of choices. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that today. I hope you enjoyed last week's episode, and I hope you shared it, and we'll continue to share. I hope you subscribe. It's only going to get better, and I am ready to get started. So when we talk about choices, we all know what that means. We all know that we've been given free will to do, to choose, to make decisions, and there comes a point in our life where we don't have to ask permission. As adults, as a child, you're trained and you're instructed and you're brought up in a way where you're being taught, hopefully, to make the right decisions. However, we know that as, again, we grow up, we become responsible adults, or should become responsible adults. We have to be responsible for our choices. So choices could be a good thing and it could be a bad thing. And what I mean by that is not every choice we make is good. And a lot of times we have this knowing within us, intuitive knowing, and we are trying to make a decision about something, and we have that feeling that says, no, don't do that, or don't go that way. And when we go against that, we find ourselves in a pickle, so to speak. I've been there many times. And those that know me, I always say this: follow peace. That is not something that I came up with originally, but a pastor at a church that I used to attend said that during one of his teachings. And that was so profound to me because, again, if you're not sure about something, that means you don't have peace about that particular thing. So at times like that, it's best to just wait. It's time to be quiet and just wait for that peace. And not getting the answer, not knowing whether you should do something or shouldn't, that is your answer. Usually when we know for sure the answer to a question or a problem that we've come across and we want a solution, or we're trying to make a major decision, we'll know it. We'll know the answer is a yes, because there'll be no other barrier or blocking. We would just know, and it just goes smooth. And so I think it's very important to recognize that within ourselves. If something doesn't feel right, then it's probably not right. And it means just to step back and wait until you get peace with it. So I don't know. I would love to hear some responses. If you guys want to reach out to me online, I do have a comment section on my website at katrinajohnson.online. And let me know what you think about that. How do you feel about when you come across a bump in the road, you have to make a major decision about something and you're not sure, have you moved forward with that decision and found out, wow, I should have waited? Or do you always, what I call, follow peace? And maybe not always, but when you follow peace, do you find that there's a big difference? I think we all can agree that it is. So as I started saying at the beginning, when we're younger, we are given instruction. We are given direction. We are being molded, usually by our parents and then by society, our teachers, our elders. And so we learn a lot, but when we reach an age of accountability, we have to then make choices ourselves. And we don't always get it right. And sometimes the choices we make puts us in a situation that we may regret. But I want to tell you this. As long as you can realize that, you know what, I made a mistake with that, then you can get out of that situation and you don't have to regret it for the rest of your life. And you can forgive yourself, because I think a lot of times some of the choices we make are major and they're setbacks, or they cause us to regress. And again, it's okay, because as long as you, as Les Brown says, can look up, you can get up, if I quoted him right. One of my favorite motivational speakers. But I just want to encourage you to always believe in yourself, even when no one else believes in you. Believe in yourself, even when you've failed yourself. I believe in failing forward, because you can always push forward through anything if you don't give up. Choices, like I said at the beginning, could be good and choices could be bad. It's all in your decision making. And when you do make choices that are not going to propel you in the right direction, decisions that are going to disrupt you in a negative way, decisions that you wish you could just dig a hole in the ground and bury yourself, decisions that only you and God know, because it was so terrible that you would never share it with anyone else. Even those, you have to forgive yourself and you have to move forward. Because I think when you don't, you're not loving yourself, and you're stunting your growth, and you may end up depressed and, God forbid, other issues. So at some point we have to push past it. There was an incident in my life where I did feel like digging a hole, the deepest hole I could, and bury myself. And I just couldn't get over the fact that I made a decision totally against my character. It compromised my integrity. And it happened gradually over a period of time. And out of nowhere, it all fell apart. It all came back on me. And if I tell you, boy, I was done. I felt so awful. But I'm human. You're human. We're all human. We're going to make mistakes. But We don't have to live in such a way where we're beating ourselves up and we can't get over that, and we decide to, just go downward. We have to always look up. We have to always think it could have been worse. And when we do that, we can move forward and we can share our stories with someone else to help them. We can definitely learn from our mistakes. And that's, I think, is one of the keys to life. As we do make mistakes, there's going to be trial, there's going to be error. No one's perfect. And so we have to accept that and still believe in ourselves and believe that we won't make those same mistakes again. And even if we do, then we might have to go through another, we might have to go through another trial in order to overcome making that mistake again. In other words, sometimes you have to repeat the same mistake in order to get it right. We have to learn from our mistakes. And again, I think it's sometimes so that we can help others learn. So I know that I've made some choices in life, and the one that I told you I felt like burying myself, that was probably one of the worst that I've ever made. And maybe one day I'll share it. But right now, just know I am human and I'm not perfect. I'm far from it. But I am the type of person that will not allow anything to hold me down for too long. I will eventually get up. I just have that fight in me, and I will always have that fight in me. I don't think I'll ever give up. I just have always had that, very optimistic about life, always believing for the best in myself and especially in others. Until you show me something different, I'm going to believe the best. And so that's just how I live my life, pretty much on the positive, faithful line. I'm on that line of being positive, having my faith, being optimistic, and just working hard at living my best life. And so I made some choices a few years ago. Let's see, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yes. So 4 years ago, I made a major decision that propelled my life in a totally different direction. And it was a good choice. At the time, it seemed like a bad choice, but it ended up being a good choice. And not everybody would agree, but it was, because I saw the change that took place in my life personally. And I'll just share it. I decided to live a life separate from my ex-husband at the time. So it was my choice to divorce. It is not the reason why I got married to divorce. I thought I'd be married forever, but that didn't happen. And in 2016, I walked away from that marriage. And that was like the worst year of my life. Actually half the year of my life. Actually, it was a whole year. But from that point on, it was like a whole year, almost 2 years, was really hard emotionally. Especially that first, I'd say 6 months. It was really, really draining on me. It was difficult at so many different levels, because here I was at a point where I had to start my life over again. so to speak. I had left a job that I'd been at for 3 years and was supposed to be relocating out of state. That didn't happen. And so when I came back into town, which was California, I had to look for another job. I had to find a place to live. I had no transportation. I was really at my rock bottom. And it took every ounce of faith to get me through it. But God saw me through it because I didn't give up. I kept believing in my God and in myself. I worked hard. I thrived. I strived, and I survived. And if I can do it, so can you. Whatever your issue in life is, you can get through it. You can overcome the obstacles that would try to keep you from living your purpose. And you have to keep the faith, work hard, and believe in yourself. Simple as that. And never give up. I hope you enjoyed the show. Again, it's about choices. And this is the second episode and the first season. And we will continue to talk about choices until the next season begins. And I just thank you for joining me today. And I want to tell you, as I always do, to stay inspired. And remember, information plus inspiration equals transformation.